CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. So we begin tonight with a campaign-style speech from the Prime Minister ahead of next month's federal budget. Abigail Beeman has more on Mark Carney's message and the expected price tag.
When I was your age, the Berlin Wall fell.
The Prime Minister addressing a room of university students, but speaking to all Canadians.
Our goal for Canada is to double our non-U.S. exports over the course of the next decade.
Mark Carney says that will generate $300 billion in trade.
Even with such efficiencies and with better management, we will have to do less of some of the things that we want to do so we can do more of what we must do.
The speech telegraphed broad strokes of the upcoming budget: spend less, invest more, saying it will include the long-awaited climate strategy and a new immigration plan.
We will play to win. We will bet on Canada and all Canadians.
He also spoke of working collaboratively across the aisle.
We had a good conversation. He didn't make any commitments.
Fresh off meeting opposition leaders ahead of the budget.
He needs to bring forward an affordable budget.
A minority government means the Liberals need help passing it or risk facing an election.
We've been very clear on what he would have to do to get our support. Now it's up to him.
They know our conditions, and if they wake up a little bit late, it's once again their problem.
Conservatives are trying to hold the Liberals to a $42 billion deficit. Experts, including the parliamentary budget officer, suspect it will be much higher. Carney didn't offer any specifics tonight, but he did say transforming the economy will take sacrifices and time. The budget comes down November 4th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A serious barn fire broke out this morning west of London. The structure is an apparent total loss, along with thousands of pigs trapped in the burning building. With more on the response, here's Sean Irvin.
Amidst persistent rain and heavy smoke, it is difficult to see the aftermath of a barn fire on Elm Tree Drive, southwest of Park Hill. It was noted by a neighbor around 7 a.m. The property owner immediately called 911. Responding North Middlesex firefighters could do little but contain it.
The barn was fully involved. There had already been some collapse.
The worsening situation warranted calling in additional fire departments, including those from Lambton Shores and Kerwood. Multiple pumpers were needed to trek water from Arkona.
The challenge is the size of the barn and the extent of the fire when we arrived. There was really nothing that could be done other than protecting other buildings.
While no one was hurt, there was a large loss of pigs housed inside the barn.
I'm told it was over 3,000 of different size, yes.
The blaze was contained within 2 hours, but smoke continued to billow as heavy equipment moved in to get at hot spots. There is no damage estimate, but the chief anticipates the barn is a total loss. The cause has not been determined, but the Office of the Fire Marshal has been notified. In North Middlesex, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
CTV News has learned the Hamilton Road BIA lost more than $100,000 to an online banking scam this summer, raising questions about why business owners weren't notified earlier. Daryl Newcomb reports.
CTV News found the office of the Hamilton Road Business Improvement Area closed, just part of the fallout after much of the BIA's bank account was drained by online scammers.
Nobody wants to go through these things.
City Councillor Hadley McAllister sits on the BIA's board.
In the summer, unfortunately, our executive director fell prey to a phishing scam, so someone was able to breach our bank account.
McAllister says Scotiabank's investigation determined its website had been mirrored, and because the login credentials were stolen, it wasn't liable for damages. Of the $125,000 stolen, only $14,000 was recovered. The total loss for the BIA, $111,000. According to Councillor McAllister, the money that was stolen came from both the special levy payment made by businesses in the area as well as a grant provided by City Hall. McAllister says the BIA's board of directors has taken over operations and addressed the financial impact.
We cut back. We didn't ask for any new funds from the city. We maintained the money we still had. So next year when we go into 2026, we can have a budget that will still maintain the service our members rely on.
But even right next door to the BIA's office, news of the substantial theft comes as an unwelcome surprise.
They definitely should have been more transparent. I asked them what was going on. They just said they were moving some stuff into storage and now they're gone. I had to learn by the news what happened.
Essentially through the summer, there were ongoing investigations. We needed to kind of let those run their course, see where we were at financially, and then make decisions in terms of the budget for next year.
McAllister says staffing has been reduced and preventative measures taken.
We've switched financial institutions and moving forward in terms of looking at insurance measures to guard against any future scams.
Expect a lot more questions from business owners along Hamilton Road when the BIA's board discusses the theft at its annual general meeting on October 29th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
The executive director for the downtown London BIA is leaving the position after an extended leave of absence. The association issued a newsletter today reporting Barb Malley formally left her position at the end of September. She initially took a 30-day leave of absence in March but never returned to the office. Malley assumed the post in February 2020. Local business owners have criticized the BIA's leadership over crime, homelessness, and store vacancies. Throughout that period, Malley said many of those issues were beyond the BIA's control. Italian food processor Andriani opened doors in London today. It's the company's first production facility in North America. As Brian Bicknell reports, it's also cementing London's status as a major agri-food center.
Music and culture, and of course food. It was all part of the international fanfare as the first products rolled off the assembly line. Hundreds of dignitaries from Ontario and Europe were on hand as Italian food producer Andriana, maker of Felicia brand gluten-free and plant-based foods, held the official opening of its first North American production plant, located on Innovation Drive in East London.
Today we are celebrating much more than the opening of a new plant. It's the beginning of a new chapter.
The $55 million plant is more than 61,000 square feet in size, and that makes for a lot of pasta.
If you produce 24 hours, 320 days per year, etc., you can reach a final capacity of 14,000 tons of pasta. Just as a number. 14,000 tons. Okay, good.
And the consumer also are changing, are looking for quality for sure, but also more nutrients.
Located in the heart of the Southern Ontario Farm Belt, what that means is this company has easy access to everything it needs to make its products. The new plant gives the company a foothold in the North American market, but it also cements London's position as an agri-food hub.
We're ready to be aggressive on attracting agri-food and food manufacturers to our city.
And Andriani just adds another layer of innovation and global quality production.
Among the guests at the opening, Italy's ambassador to Canada, who praised the economic partnership.
And how great our ambitions are when we really strive for the best of quality, when we strive for excellence.
The company says the plant will employ 40 people by the end of the year. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Ontario's opposition parties are hammering the provincial government's minister responsible for the Skills Development Fund. They say he needs to resign or be fired after cancelling a fundraiser and holding an announcement without media invited. John Woodward has the latest on the scandal.
There was supposed to be a PC party fundraiser at this site in North York Wednesday night. It was cancelled as the clouds continue to swirl around the Skills Development Fund. Ontario's opposition again called for the resignation of Labour Minister David Piccini.
Now that minister should be fired. He should be fired over this. He should be cancelled just like he had to cancel his fundraiser.
That's in the wake of news stories tracking hundreds of millions of dollars going to organizations who endorsed the PCs through connected lobbyists. Ontario's Auditor General found some $750 million went to organizations picked by political staff, even though bureaucrats ranked them low. Piccini was at Ontario's legislature to answer questions.
To the Premier, workers who really need this fund are asking, are you going to keep standing by your man?
Speaker, a near doubling of the number of women registering for apprenticeships. Wow. Those are the results. We're going to keep working hard to get the job done.
That morning, he'd also been at a Skills Development Fund announcement at the headquarters of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, but didn't invite the media. Some $8.6 million was handed out, $2.3 million to the IBEW. Records show their business manager has given $8,000 to the PCs in the past 5 years, $750,000 to the Provincial Building and Construction Trades Council. Several of its affiliates endorsed Doug Ford in the last election, though it says it doesn't take a position. $186,000 to Enercare. The lobbyist registry showed they hired a lobbyist for training and skills development.
The fund is not the problem, it's the politicians. The Premier and his ministers need to get their hands off that fund. It is not their personal piggy bank.
Piccini's been personally scrutinized. He was photographed at these seats with a director of a company that would go on to get millions. And the NDP has complained he went to the wedding of the lobbyist for that company.
You shouldn't be at the glass, you should be in the penalty box.
No sign Ford has given up on Piccini, though the cancellation of the fundraisers may sting. Records show one of Piccini's previous fundraisers netted some $50,000. John Woodward, CTV News.
London police say they're investigating a stabbing attack from this morning. According to police, a 911 call came in just after 5 a.m. reporting a person in distress near Oxford and Warncliffe. Police say they found a man with apparent stab wounds when they arrived, but no suspect has been located. They're asking anyone with dash cam or surveillance footage in the area to contact them. London police say they've charged a woman from Owen Sound following a protest yesterday. Police say they were called to an anti-war demonstration outside RBC Place Tuesday morning. Protesters were blocking people from attending a military equipment conference. According to police, a suspect wearing a mask broke electronic locks off the building with a hammer, causing about $30,000 in damage, and then resisted arrest. Stratford City councillors have unanimously voted in favor of a proposed new warming centre. It'll be at the Connection Centre at St. Paul's Anglican Church, operated by the Canadian Mental Health Association Huron-Perth. The facility will be available for people experiencing homelessness 7 days a week during the winter. There won't be any overnight beds, but staff will provide a resting space and hot meals. Council approved funding of up to $350,000 for the next 2 winters. Officials in Bruce County say they're gaining momentum to build a new large-scale nuclear reactor, Canada's first in decades. With more on the project's potential impact, here's Scott Miller.
In July of 2023, Bruce Power got the green light to start planning for the construction of 4 to 5 more nuclear reactors at their sprawling Bruce County compound. 2 years later, the dream is slowly taking shape.
We really want to do a large new build because that's what makes sense for the site, but we really want to do it safely, with high quality, low cost, and on time.
At a Clean Energy Frontier conference near the Bruce Power site today, representatives from across the country heard about the immense impact building brand new nuclear reactors might have on the region, province, and country.
Our current operation, we're talking 27,000 jobs across Ontario, 7,000 megawatts of reliable power. When you add Bruce C to that mix, those jobs double to over 50,000, at least during construction and our base operation.
The impacts locally to building more nuclear reactors could see 2,600 new jobs supported in the region each year, along with the 4,200 full-time employees on site right now. Before Bruce C could be approved, the Indigenous rights holders to the Bruce site, the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, would need to be on board. They aren't yet, saying legacy nuclear issues, specifically around the storage and handling of nuclear waste, must be dealt with before they give their blessing.
So we really want to have a partnership more than an agreement, if you want, with the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, where they are really part embracing the project and they get direct benefit from the project.
Pretty much everyone at today's Clean Energy Conference is behind the project, recognizing it will bring challenges like around housing, but challenges they are more than happy to try and deal with.
We have seen the job creation, we've seen the quality of life, we've seen the ability to attract and retain young people.
We're really excited about the proposed Bruce C site. Certainly we think about the job creation and assessment growth for our municipalities, which then in turn turns into things like recreation facilities, support for small business.
If it does move forward, it is believed it would be more than a decade before the Bruce C nuclear facility could be operational. In Bruce County, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Premier Doug Ford says he's considering legislation aimed at cracking down on ticket resales, with World Series seats going for massive markups. Siobhan Morris reports.
Outside the Rogers Centre, the headquarters for so much joy the last few days, everyone has a story of woe of being denied a coveted World Series ticket.
I was, I think, 138,000 in the queue for Game 6.
I wasn't able to get any. It's been crazy.
The tickets vanished in a flash. The resale market that took over.
Too expensive.
Fans have reported tickets listed for north of $25,000. That's what some Torontonians pay for rent in a whole year.
They need to do something about it. People shouldn't be making a business from reselling tickets. It just doesn't make sense.
The Premier has heard those frustrations and is considering changes.
My personal opinion, I got to talk to the whole team, but they're gouging the people. When you have one player in the market that controls the tickets, that's not right for the people. So we're reviewing that right now.
Doug Ford says he'll look at reviving a legislative move his government killed in its early days. It would cap the price for a resale ticket at 50% markup. In 2018, Ford's office said the measure introduced by the Liberals couldn't actually be enforced. But Blue Jays fans are giving this a standing ovation.
That's a really reasonable thing to do. It allows people to actually afford to come into games and shows that you want to be able to see.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Like, price gouging is out of control.
I think that's something good. I think the amount people are trying to make off other people, I think is unfair.
Opposition parties don't think the government should have shut down the anti-scalping measure in the first place.
The Ford government once again failed everyday people in order to align themselves with corporate interests.
We need the government to take action.
People expect their government to make sure there's fairness.
Fans are still willing to stretch their budgets to witness history.
800 max. Yeah, for like the 500 seats.
But for now, they'll have to hope this is more than a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Still ahead, from the political arena to the wrestling ring. We'll introduce you to the local politician and his alter ego later on CTV News. A relatively quiet day on Bay Street, a gain of 94 points on the TSX. In New York, a different story. The Dow was down more than 330 points. The Nasdaq fell 213. The Canadian dollar up more than 1/10 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold dropped more than $40 an ounce. Oil gained $1.26 a barrel. Union leaders say a truck assembly plant in Quebec is laying off 300 workers because of U.S. tariffs. It's the latest sign of economic pessimism and of Prime Minister Mark Carney's first federal budget. Geneviève Beauchemin reports.
At the end of their shift at the PACCAR assembly plant, workers said it was a difficult day on the job.
Oh, it's very loud. It's very heavy. I mean, yeah.
The union says the 300 workers who were laid off here are the latest victims of the tariff war raging between Canada and the United States. PACCAR assembles Peterbilt and Kenworth trucks. And news of this latest wave of layoffs here comes days after the U.S. signed off on a 25% tariff on medium and heavy-duty trucks made outside the country. PACCAR's headquarters are in Seattle, and the company has declined to comment.
Fabricant de camions au Canada.
Union Representative Jonathan Blais says more than 90% of trucks that roll off the assembly line here are destined for the American market. Now this plant will refocus on assembling trucks for Canada.
A year ago, we were getting, I believe, 92 trucks out every day, and that number is going to be down to 18.
And that has sparked concern about the very survival of the plant that has been part of the landscape here in Sainte-Thérèse for 6 decades. But the union is urging all levels of government across the country to act, to buy Canadian now, to order the made-in-Quebec medium and heavy-duty trucks.
We see there's a will from the company to keep this plant in Quebec and to actually continue producing in Quebec. But I mean, the demand needs to increase. We need to have an internal market.
For this suburb northwest of Montreal, this is a heavy blow. PACCAR is the city's biggest plant. And along with the hundreds of well-paying jobs that were lost today, there are hundreds more on the line in indirect labor. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Sainte-Thérèse, Quebec.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. Cool and damp conditions persist throughout the overnight as we track this low pressure system that is taking its time moving out. We've been in and out of showers throughout the day today, and our temperatures struggling to reach near seasonal values. Much of the same in store for your Thursday before sunshine returns Friday. I'll walk you through the forecast coming up after the break.
Welcome back on the desk with Rita Ismail tonight. And Rita, earlier this week, Julie was setting up what she called a pretty fall-like forecast, and you're here to deliver it because got a little bit of everything today. Some sun, some rain, some clouds.
Got it. Exactly. A little bit of everything. Chillier conditions. It's certainly feeling like fall out there. 9 degrees, struggling to reach our daytime high of 13. We were under cloud cover early on with some on and off rain showers, and then we actually broke into a bit of sunshine late into the afternoon. But the rain did return in the evening, and that's been the story as a pesky low pressure system stays over southwestern Ontario for the next at least 24 to 36 hours. Overnight low 5 degrees. Record was on this day in 1947, 26 degrees. Record low -5 in 1969. As we head into the night, you could see very unstable air mass, and instability means we are in and out of showers overnight tonight. Even some embedded thunderstorm activity along the shores of Lake Huron throughout Sarnia. Non-severe storms, but definitely unpredictable. As this system continues to turn, we're also dealing with winds over the lake, and that's producing some additional lake effect showers, believe it or not. And once the system starts to make its way out, we will break into a bit of sunshine, but that will not happen until Friday. So Thursday, tomorrow will feature much of the same. You'll need your umbrella at times and then your sunglasses in the afternoon, but for a short period as there's a break, and then the rain continues to turn throughout the afternoon into the evening. There it is as it exits Friday morning. Some more cloud cover throughout Grey and Bruce County. It will be late in the day when you'll see a bit of clearing, but we could break into sunshine here in London after 3 p.m. on Friday. And then good news for your Saturday, lots of sunshine in store. But the next 24 hours, again, will look a lot like the last 24 hours. Few showers, 5 degrees early Thursday morning. So chillier conditions, cloudy, light rainfall, and breezy. The winds out of the northwest tomorrow, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Our daytime high, struggling, again, 10 degrees if we get there for Thursday. And then Friday, 12. We'll recover nicely for the weekend. It will be beautiful if this holds and the system actually starts to push out. Although colder temperatures early on your weekends, 2 degrees or slightly below that, but we are going to be right around seasonal Sunday through to Tuesday, and then we'll hold on to that nice mix of sun and cloud and dry out nicely after the last couple of days where we'll be dealing with the rainfall. Thursday, Friday throughout Midwestern Ontario, a bit more rainy for you. The system really sitting smack down center of you where you're situated. So you are dealing with a bit more rainfall, a little bit heavier, up to 30 millimeters possible by tomorrow morning. And that's on top of what we saw throughout the day today. Friday, it's going to take its time pushing out. The temperatures will be at or about 10 degrees, and then Saturday, Sunday, nice mix of sun and cloud, a little bit more cloud cover for your Saturday, but drying out nicely, and then holding on to that pattern into next week with temperatures at or slightly below seasonal. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Rita. Thousands of dollars raised today at the London airport by local teams all pulling together. This was the United Way's first ever airplane pull on the tarmac. Organizers say 38 teams raised more than $40,000 in pledges. Locally, the United Way helps more than 100,000 people a year with counseling, food security, and supportive housing. Each team included around 15 people, pulling planes weighing as much as 43,000 pounds.
Our student groups, they're really bringing a lot of energy. We have workplaces here. Canada Life was just pulling. We had our friends from CAMI and Unifor 88 pulling for their community at a time when they're going through a tough time themselves. So we're so thrilled to see the support here.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a tale of two personas for a local politician. Brent Lail has more on the city councillor who also moonlights as a pro wrestler.
Everybody is grappling with trying to make the right decision.
In his daily life, Councillor Brian White wrestles with trying to do what's best for the city of Sarnia.
Almost 3 full terms, it means that I'm either doing something right or I've been able to fake people out as much as I do in pro wrestling.
When he removes the suit and tie from his day job, his persona and demeanor changes. He becomes a punk rock, independent wrestling champion.
To put on a different hat, to become a different person, and to have people, whether they boo me or cheer me on the road, it's not for political reasons. It's just because we're doing our job.
His dual life sometimes intersects. In pro wrestling terms, he's not always the face or the good guy. Some people see him as a heel.
One gentleman commented on my haircut earlier, so thank you for the compliment.
Being able to get out on the road and get away from all that other stuff is really therapeutic for me.
I've been walking through a restaurant in Ottawa and had somebody grab me by the arm and say, "Hey, aren't you that wrestling counselor guy?" So it's pretty cool.
His moniker is the Honorable One, in reference to his role in politics. He's the former deputy warden of Lambton County, and for the past year has been Sarnia's acting mayor when Mike Bradley is away.
My only regret is I didn't get to do an acting macho mayor persona, which I was really hoping to do, but perhaps at some point I will pull that one out of the bag.
Perhaps next fall. After serving in an interim capacity for the past year, there are rumors he may seek the mayoral chair in 2026.
Every decision that we make in this chamber is incredibly important to somebody, and it has ramifications long term. And so when we do make those decisions, and I do sit there and expect certain decorum, it's a lot different than being in the ring, that's for sure.
As he approaches 50 years old, he isn't quite ready to hang up his wrestling boots just yet. As a former filmmaker and storyteller, he already has an idea of how his in-ring story will end before the credits roll.
I kind of see it as a bit of a dovetail opportunity as my son evolves into his pro wrestling career. It gives me an opportunity to start looking beyond. What does that mean for me? The dream match for me is to have my son retire me at the end in a match. My last match hopefully will be against my boy.
Brent Lail, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.